A very good evening and a warm welcome to PNB News tonight. I am Omohefe Peace Osemere. First, the main items. Tinubu, Shettima, other VIPs to pay airport parking fees. ASU decries neglect of education sector as Nigeria ranks lowest in education budgets across West African sub-region. On the foreign scene, 80% of healthcare centers in Gaza out of service as Anthony Blinken pays surprise visit to Ukraine. And in sports, Super Falcons Chiamaka Nadozie expresses excitement over Best Goalkeeper Award in France. Details in a moment. Welcome back. President Bola Tinubu and the Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, will now pay airport access toll and parking fees at any of the nation's airports. This memorandum from the Ministry of Aviation, which was approved at the Federal Executive Council chaired by Tinubu. Minister of Aviation Festus Keyamo, who announced this to newsmen after today's FEC meeting, argued that the government was losing over 82% of the revenue it should have earned from the e-tags that provide access to the airport. He explained that the memoranda had initially recommended an exemption for the president and the vice president. However, Tinubu overruled the recommendation, insisting that he and the VP, alongside their aides, must pay tolls. The minister lamented that VIPs who have the money to pay tolls are evading payment, leaving the authorities to rely on charges gotten from the poor. Meanwhile, Keyamo vowed to end episodes where uniformed officers harass airport staff at the gate, assuring citizens that more cameras will be planted in strategic positions to capture those culpable. He said the federal government stands to generate 10 billion naira annually from tolls, even as it considers a rebate for military veterans. In a related development, the Federal Executive Council has mandated all government ministries, departments and agencies to procure only vehicles and generators powered by compressed natural gas. In a statement signed by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, and also expect its MDAs to begin converting all petrol or diesel-powered vehicles or generators to CNG. The new directive, which is in line with President Tinubu-led administration, is committed to ensuring energy security, drive utility, and cut high fuel costs. Last Monday's directive was one of the major decisions. It adjourned its 4-hour proceedings. According to Ngelale, it also in furtherance of Nigeria's effort to reduce lower emissions, even as they present a more affordable alternative for Nigerian energy consumers. PNB Television dependent vehicles to go back and diligently seek value-driven procurement of CNG-compliant vehicles. Addressing members of the Federal Executive Council at the State House, President Tinubu affirmed the nation will not progress forward if it continues to dance on the same spot. And as Ondo and Edo State prepare for the forthcoming governorship elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is set to resume continuous voter registration. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who disclosed this during the second regular quarterly consultative meeting with political parties in Abuja, added that the exercise would take place from May the 27th to June the 5th, 2024. At the meeting, the INEC chairman noted that registered voters could transfer their registration from other states across the Federation to Edo and Ondo State. Death or resignation of members in 3 states and 1 federal constituency nationwide. The Edo State governorship election is billed for September the 21st, 2024, while that of Ondo State would hold on November 16th, 2024. Well, more trouble for the embattled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, as the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has preferred a fresh charge against him over an allegation that he illegally printed naira notes while he held sway at the Apex Bank. The anti-graft agency, in a 4-count charge, it entered before the Federal High Court. The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, accused the embattled former CBN boss of unlawfully approving the withdrawal of about 124.8 billion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund. According to the EFCC, the defendant, acting in violation of law and with intent to cause injury to the public, okayed the printing of the Naira notes without the approval of both the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, and the board of the CBN. Emefiele, who is already facing multiple charges both in Abuja and Lagos, is expected to take his plea before trial justice Marian Aneni. It will be recalled that President Bola Tinubu had on June the 9th, 2023, suspended Emefiele from office as the head of. This was disclosed by ASU President Professor Emmanuel Osodeke during a one-day workshop on emerging areas of students' needs and beneficiary institutions organized by the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED Fund in Abuja on Tuesday, the 14th of May, 2024. He also reiterated federal government says, and talking about labor matters, the federal government said a new wage system based on employees' productivity in the civil service is underway. With this system, workers on the same level are expected to earn different salaries. The government said the formulation of an innovative wage system was being considered before it realized that productivity was a key factor in the growth of the country's economy. Director General of the National Productivity Center, NPC, Nasir Raji Mustafa, disclosed these during a meeting with Labour correspondent. When asked whether the new proposal on a productivity-led wage system had the support and input of organized labor, the NPC boss stressed that such a task could not be carried out without the input of labor. Raji Mustafa added that the report for the first phase of a study was ready, adding that the next stage would be to engage various stakeholders to consider and make input before finally presenting it to the Federal Executive Council for consideration and possible adoption. The NPC boss also disclosed that the center was collaborating with several international agencies and organizations to ensure that the productivity and skills of Nigerian workers are greatly improved to impact positively on the economy. Still staying with Labour matters, let's head on to Jos, the Plateau State capital, where members of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) on Monday morning shut down the headquarters of a Jos electricity distribution company (JEDC) in the capital over electricity tariff hike. KB News gathered that the Labour workers had announced earlier that the offices of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC) and distribution companies discuss over the recent increase.
Union to shut down all the electricity discos in the country. Security operatives include the police, the SS and CDC were at the entrance of the company to prevent any breakdown of law and order. On the arrival at the building, members of the union blocked the main gate of the company, hanging leaves on the gate to show their grievances. Their actions were, however, left the staff of the company stranded outside the main building.
You know, we came in, the union people just locked our gates that we can't enter. So the cause of everything is because of the increase in tariff. But the jet is not the problem, it's the neck. If they want to do any protest, let them go to the NEC, go to Ministry of Power, go to the...
From getting into their various offices. One, the revenue of the company, the meager resources we get will dampen. Definitely it will nosedive. You understand? And secondly, there might not be supply. You understand? So instead of treating an open wound with GV or iodine, you are adding salt or pepper to an open wound.
The state chairman of NLC, Yunjin Manji, explains why they comply with the for the reversal of the electricity tariff.
Federal government who directed NAC to increase or to inflate or to hijack the electricity tariff should immediately reverse it because of the following. One, ordinary maize, masara, we are eating. When you take it to the grinding machine, if you have 10 measures, if you are paying 1,000, now it's going to be paying more than 1,000, maybe 5,000, because will pay me balance.
The spokesperson of the DISCO, Elijah Adakule, appeals to the labor union to allow some of their staffs who are on essential electricity tariff hike has witnessed a widespread condemnation across. Jamila Haruna Garga, P&B TV News Jos.
Many thanks for that report. Now, concerned by the illegal activities of facilities were raided during their routine surveillance activities by the agency's regulatory officers following intelligence reports. They further disclosed that some of the perpetrators had been apprehended and handed over to the police for investigation of the area. The Israeli military has carried out multiple deadly attacks across the Gaza Strip. In another development, far-right Israelis held a march in Sderot near the border with Gaza, attended by ministers in the Kharkiv region, but includes at least 7 villages. Though most of those villages were already depopulated, thousands of civilians in the area have fled the fighting. The Kremlin's forces have also reportedly been making a concerted push in the east, seeking to drive deeper into the partly occupied Donetsk region. The main focus of Russian attacks Tuesday was Pokrovsk, just inside the Ukrainian border in Donetsk, where the Kremlin's forces launched 24 assaults.